What's on Giglio's card sports? What's on Giglio's card spreads? What's on Giglio's card and parlays?
All right, welcome back to another edition of Picks and Pizza. And why am I smiling? Well, I did not correctly pick the winner in the Open Championship last week on the inaugural episode. I did have Brian Harman to cash in the top 10. That was a good thing. However, in the Barracuda Championship, Akshay Bhatia picks up his first PGA Tour win. That was at plus 3,400. So, what better way can you possibly start a gambling podcast than by hitting a winner in the PGA Tour? I can't think of a single one. Bennett Johnson joined me last week from the Heister Automotive Group. He's a big golf fan. He's going to join me again. He's going to try to redeem himself. But instead of me just gloating here, I just want to try to explain why I think that golf gambling is the best gambling. And I'm going to show you just a spreadsheet from last week. And these were our picks. And I just want to show you this is why, in my opinion, when you look at the odds, you're going to sit here and go, how do I, if you're new to gambling, we have straight bets, right? You want to bet on a game, you bet on a side. Let's take the Panthers, week 1 playing the Falcons, -3.5, right? The Panthers have to win the game by more than 3 points. If they win by 4, you cover, they win. You win on a $100 bet, you pay a $10 vig, so you pay $110 to win 100, right? Pretty simple stuff. It's a straight bet. In golf, it's considered a future, and it's a prop. You're getting odds. So yet last week we had Akshay Bhatia at 34-1. So if you bet $100, you make $3,400. I mean, that's a pretty good payoff. And if you lose, you don't lose $3,400. That's kind of the important part here. You don't lose that amount. You lose what you risk, which is $100. So let's look at the slide from last week and see if it pulls up for me. You know that Joe Ovius is more of the, here we go. And let's see if it'll zoom for us a little bit. So here's Bennett's picks from last week at the Open. So he had Matt Fitzpatrick, first round leader. Those are your payouts, 5,500, 5,000, 2,500. Didn't win. So that's $100 that he lost with a chance to win as much as $5,000. That's, again, it's a pretty good bet. Top 20s didn't do well, -200. But again, it's a $100 bet. Let's skip Rory just for a second because that one gets a little complicated. Hovland did not finish in the top 10. That's a -100. Scheffler didn't win, -100. And then Pendrith did not win the Barracuda. So he's -516 with a +83 on the Rory top 10. Figure that out. There were 12 guys who finished in the top 10. So 10 divided by 12. Then we multiply that by what he staked, which was 135, and you get $83. Now, if you go to my picks last week, and again, this is not for oh man, how stupid is Bennett. It's more of so you realize what I'm talking about when I say that golf odds are the best odds. Okay. Did not have anything even close for the first round leader. So that's -100. And then the top 20s, Denny McCarthy didn't make the cut. Phil Mickelson didn't make the cut either. But I hit both top 10 bets. And same process, 10 divided by 12, multiply it by what you could have won. And that gets us 187 for Tommy Fleetwood, 541 for Brian Harman, which is a nice payout considering he won. Now, this gives you an idea that you probably could have won a few more dollars if I had Brian Harman instead of Victor Hovland. Then I had 2 picks in the Barracuda. One was Grayson Murray. The other was Akshay Bhatia. Akshay ends up winning after just absolutely going molten on the weekend. So that's plus 3,500. So this is all entertainment purposes, legitimately for this podcast. I'm really just showing you this in the spreadsheet. I'd be a lot happier if it was real money and it was January we were able to do this. But so you see, my weekend was $3,729. That's not bad. That kind of bankrolls you for the rest, not only of the golf tournament, but probably a pretty good chunk of the NFL season and the college football season and whatever else you're trying to put up there as well. So it just kind of gives you an idea that when we think of traditional gambling, it's not just, oh, I'm betting on a team to win. Oh, I can only win $100. Or, oh, I have to risk $3,000 to make $3,000. That's the true beauty of golf gambling. And also the true beauty is for people who like to gamble, most people bet on football. They bet on the NFL. And some people bet on college football as well, obviously. When they don't have football to bet on, there's something that has to fill the void. And that's actually what the success of the PGA Tour has been kind of in the post-Tiger era, right? Like, who's the most famous golfer on the tour right now? Rory. Obviously, he doesn't really move the needle the same way that other golfers do. So, you know, you got to have something when you don't have a LeBron James in the NBA. We saw this when Michael Jordan retired, and Kobe Bryant really wasn't there, or certainly where he is now in the since his passing and his popularity. You got to have a star. You got to build around something. Well, golf doesn't have a star, but they have a hook, and the hook is gambling, and that's what's been able to kind of really sustain the tour and give them a niche. I like to say that we have niche sports now. We don't really have national pastimes anymore. It just depends on where the niche is. So, to me, there is no better bet than there is in golf. And then there's no better way to kind of learn a little bit about this than go to the Action Network, download some different podcasts. You know, I like to talk to people who played golf. Shout out to my man, Brad Frisch. I try to get some insights here and there. I also try to look at, like this week, they're at a TPC course. So I try to look at how golfers have performed at other TPC courses. It doesn't always correlate. And you can also look at how golfers are playing recently. That's going to, shape one of my picks. This is also the time of the year where they're getting down to the top 70 for the FedEx Cup, and only top 70 golfers will qualify. And obviously the biggest money and the biggest paydays other than majors are in that FedEx Cup. So, guys who are in the 70s and the 80s, even in the 60s, are worth looking at and saying, okay, because what's your motivation at this point, right? I think all golfers get into this to want to win majors. Well, now all of the majors are gone, and the unofficial fifth major, the players already happened as well. So what are you really playing for? Well, another smart move that golf made kind of in the post-Tiger era was this emphasis on the FedEx Cup. So let's just pay a few bills here on Picks and Pizza, and then I'll bring in on the Heister Automotive Group hotline my friend Bennett Johnson. We'll give him a chance at redemption. We'll also give his daughter a chance to scream at me for bad mouthing her dad here, just for a couple of minutes anyway. All in good fun though. Appreciate everyone. Please download on Apple, Spotify, the Googles, you name it. 5 stars only, of course. This is as we get closer and closer to legalized gambling in North Carolina. I feel like this could be something that helps you on your journey as you learn how to gamble, and maybe we can win a few things like we did last week. Also, programming note, we will be at the Wyndham Championship on Wednesday, the week of the tournament, which is the first week of August. Really looking forward to that. Joe Ovius, I, and our intern, Jackson Giglio, will be there helping us with social media stuff. We were able to play in the media round last week. Sedgefield is an amazing track. Donald Ross really knows what he's doing. It's great to kind of compare and contrast. Also run by the McConnell Group, which runs Raleigh Country Club. So for me, it's just a wonderful chance to go play and see a course that kind of how golf was maybe meant to be, supposed to be. Not a lot of changes or trickery in Sedgefield, which is one of the reasons the pros really tear it up. But the greens, as with any Donald Ross course, are their true defense. So be on the lookout for that. We will have the OG podcast from the Wyndham Championship, from Margaritaville, actually, at the Wyndham Championship at Sedgefield. Big thanks to Rob Goodman and also who's with Wyndham, the tournament itself. And then big thanks to the PGA Tour for credentialing us. Really looking forward to that on our podcast journey. Let's do this. Let's pay a few bills here. Then we'll get into our picks with Bennett Johnson from the Heister Automotive Group. And let's see if I can strike gold one more week, one more time.
Housekeeping.
Big thanks to my friend Hayes Lancaster at Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. Hey, if you got bugs in your house, outside your house, you got mice in the attic, you got mold under the house, mildew under the house, any kind of moisture, Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority, Hayes Lancaster and his crew can take care of you. Check them out at bugsbite.com. And I got to tell you, one of our big supporters, Adam Stevenson, Breeze Through Markets, big golf fan, and Breeze Through is there for you right there at Edwards Mill Road, right across from NC State, right across from Carter Finley Stadium. Whether you're headed over to Walnut Creek, hey, there's a show. They have a spot over on Pool Road. They got gas, they got ice, they got beer, they got the tumbler, the new OG tumbler that has a lifetime refill. Next week, we're going to start giving those away on the OG with the OG mixtape. Really looking forward to that. Could not do all of what we've been able to do so far on all of our OG media podcasts without Adam and Breeze Through. So big shouts to Adam and Breeze Through. And speaking of which, we're going to the ACC kickoff this week. We picked up a bunch of cards from Oak City Sports Cards, including an 87 Topps wax box. I think a lot of people my age, I'm 48, are going to enjoy seeing that wax box of wax packs unveiled in Charlotte this week. Big thanks to Weston at Oak City Sports Cards. Check them out at Oak City Cards, or go downtown. They're right off of Glenwood Avenue. Such a great spot. Weston and Katie Speeds, they do such an unbelievable job. Most important thing in this new world of cards, got to get your cards graded. Weston can help you do that. He's the best there is. Go check him out. Again, oakcitycards.com. And hey, who knows? You might find yourself in some legal trouble. You might need some help. Josh Whitaker, Joe Hamer, Whitaker and Hamer, they're attorneys and counselors at law. Got more than 20 years experience. They have the world's greatest URL, wh.lawyer. You can also give them a call, 919-772-7000. Josh and Joe are here in Garner, but they have locations. They have all the G's. You name it. They've got 20 years experience, whether you're selling a business, closing on a house, any kind of family law issues. Give Whitaker and Hamer a call, 919-772-7000.
Move on.
All right, I've just slandered his good name for the last, I don't know, 5 minutes. Bennett Johnson, Heaster Automotive Group. Yes, Paige, stick up for your dad.
Paige
yes,
is sticking up.
Sorry, man. You were not nice to me last week. I listened back, I watched back, and I'm like, what did I ever do to Bennett that he's like totally like just throwing shade at me for a 35 minute podcast? I just didn't feel that was warranted.
Well, what's funny is I am actually backed by popular demand. So apparently the audience liked it.
Yeah, no, she was just giving you a hard time for your picks last week.
She was. Not paying for her college on those picks. But we're going to trend up this week. I'm feeling good.
All right, let's get back to it then. The 3M Open in Minneapolis. It's a TPC course. I like looking at, Blaine, Minnesota. I like looking at stats from other TPC courses, but let's do this. We're going to go first round leaders. Let's go 3, because last week I did it on units of a third, basically $33 on a first round leader.
Yeah.
Hit me with all 3 of your first round leaders here for the 3M Open.
All right. I went 3 totally different players for totally different reasons. Number 1, I'm staying on my old Canada hot streak with Mr. Hadwin. He's plus 5,000 to be. I'm thinking you got to be probably 7-8 under at least after the first round to be winning this tournament. So
yes,
maybe even deeper than that. So he's top 50 in all approach categories, 75 yards to 150 yards. This course is short, so they're going to have a lot of shots, 75 to 150 plus 5,000 to be your first round leader.
All right, next, I like it.
I went totally different angle here. I went with what's probably statistically the best putter on tour, Mr. Taylor Montgomery. He's plus 8,000, which is pretty good odds for a first round leader for basically someone that's playing terrible. He only thing he can do is putt, really. He's first in 1 putts on tour, second strokes gained. So if you're going to make a lot of birdies, you got to make a lot of putts. So if you're going to have a lot of looks here, it's a very short course for these bombers. So if you can get someone make hot with a putter, you can pile up 8 or 9 birdies real fast here. And then last this is just totally off the wall. Billy Horschel plus 10,000. But I'm like, he's played terrible all year. He's just like we talked about last week, Eventually, a really good player is going to pop off with a 63 when you don't expect it. Hopefully, it'll be Thursday in Minnesota for Billy Horschel.
Yes, there we go. I like it. I like all three of those. So I'm going to give you mine. I'm with you. I can't quit Grayson Murray. He's plus 9,000. So that I see the face plus 9,000. First round leader though. He's a birdie guy. Aaron Rye has already been the first round leader twice this year at the Farmers and the Heritage. He went low with a 64 at the Rocket Mortgage. He's plus 6,000. It's just kind of a positional play for me. And then Vinnie Norman, the Swede. Plus 6,500. So I like Vinnie Norman as a first round leader as well. I was looking up par 5 scoring. This is a Bombers course. I was actually looking up driving stats. There's not a lot of Bombers at this course. Obviously, Tony Finau is your betting favorite for a reason. Cameron Young among the betting favorite leaders for a reason. I think Bombers win here in general, play well here in general. Cameron Champ has won here before as well. So I think that will be a theme for me. But give me Vinnie Norman on that first round leader. All right, so let's do top. We're only going to do one top 20 this week. So give me your top 20. Let's see if you've learned your lessons from the opener. You're going to give me some longer odds.
Well, actually, everyone was proud of my lower odds. They're like, Giglio always just throwing deep darts out there.
Oh yeah, Brian Harman top 10. Wow, that was a real.
You could sit here all night and never guess this player. He is only reason I picked him is like we said, it's a course you got to go deep. 20 under, 22 under is probably going to win. He's 7th in Eagles made. Decent driver of the golf ball. Kramer Hickok.
All right, what are the odds?
I actually think this is a typo. I'll have you double check, but it says plus 1,000. But you know what? I'm thinking I might have hit a slightly different category there. Is plus 1,000 seem fair? Can we pull that up? Check on
for top 20? No, that's about right.
I think that is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at it. Yeah, plus 1,000.
My top 20, not as adventurous. I went and looked at all the TPC starts this year and found guys who finished in the top 10s and obviously Scotty Scheffler's got 4 of them this year, including the wins in Phoenix and the Players. He's not in this field. Terrell Hatton, another guy who's played well at TPC courses. Here's a guy though, Ches Reavie has 2 top 10s this year in TPC courses. Not great value, plus 30, but it's top 20. This feels like those events where Ches tries to keep his card. I like him. And speaking of keeping cards and staying in races on top 10, you're going to love my pick of JT. You can come back. You're going to love my pick of JT because it's plus 300. He's 74th right now in the FedEx standings, which means he needs to start getting on his horse. One of the reasons to start betting on guys like that. So it's actually not bad odds. It's 3-1 to be a top 10. So that's my top 10, JT.
I wanted to choose him, but I knew you would make fun of me. And that was me doing my JT.
Oh, okay. I thought you were calling timeout.
No. That was my JT. You want a 10-second Ches Reavie story since you just threw him out there?
Please. Yeah.
About 3 or 4 years ago, the owner of our company, John Huster, played with him in a Pro-Am. Going into the tournament, Ches Reavie had missed 6 consecutive cuts on tour. After that round, he goes on to make 9 of 9 cuts and qualify all the way for the Tour Championship. I think it was 2021 season.
So I need
coming
to
right out of COVID.
This is what
That's exactly right. So there's your Ches Reavie trivia of the day.
All right, your top 10 pick.
I went with a little bit chalkier pick here. I've been crazy on the odds so far tonight. This is a plus 500 play, Mr. Thigala.
Okay. A bomber,
I like him
for sure.
Yeah, he's a bomber. He's also a guy that knows how to go low. He's only missed 3 cuts all year. So you know he's going to be there on the weekend. You're just thinking, hey, can he make enough birdies on Saturday and Sunday just to sneak into the top 10? He's also 6th on tour from putting from 25 feet in. So if you're hitting pretty much every green out there, greens regulation not important here. Everyone's hitting the greens. It's going to be who putts the best. Thus, someone I think 25 feet in. That also kind of aligns with the Taylor Montgomery pick.
All right, give me your first pick to win the 3M Open.
I'm going to go with I have 2 picks here, like you said. Number 1 pick, I'll go ahead and say number 2 pick, we have a special guest who will deliver that pick. So number 1 pick is plus 4,000. He's a bomber. He's also a major champion, Gary Woodland.
I like it.
Kind of what we talked about last week, and we've a little bit this week. Eventually, the big name guys, they're the big name guys for a reason. They're going to pop off. They're going to throw up a top 5 when you least expect it. They're going to make a charge on Sunday. So I could see Gary hanging around on Saturday, being 6-7 back on Sunday, shoot a crazy low number and sneak out a win.
All right, I'll give you both my picks, and then we'll bring Paige in to close this out with your final pick. I'm going with an old and a young. I'll give you my old. Lucas Glover is really no one's idea of a bomber, but he's playing out of his gourd right now in his last 3 starts. He's finished in the top 10. I went with 2 guys who did not make the trip over to Royal Liverpool. So I'm going Glover, who's 43 years old. He's at 42-1. Again, his last 3 starts. And they're not the greatest tournaments in the history of the world, but neither is this. So I think he's knocking on the door. He's got 4 career wins. I don't like to pick guys who don't have career wins, except when I do, because my young guy, and I think you know where I'm going, is Ludwig Aberg. Ludwig Aberg, 23-year-old Texas Tech. Talk about bombers. He's averaging 316 off the tee in his PGA Tour starts this year. He's had 5 starts since the start of June, 3 top 25s, and the top 5 at John Deere, which was also a TPC course. And more importantly to me, didn't have to make the trip back from England. Has probably been chilling in Minnesota since he didn't make the cut at the Scottish Open. He's a young guy, kind of like we've seen with Akshay Bhatia last week, kind of like we saw with Will Zalatoris. These guys don't wait anymore. There are no paying of dues anymore. You get on the tour, you flash out. Cameron Young, Sahith Theegala, these guys get out here, they start balling, and you can't stop them. And I love the cut of Aberg's jib, and I would have picked him last week at the Barracuda, but he wasn't there. So here I am a week later, taking Aberg at 34-1. So not exactly off the charts here, but the same number that I got Akshay last week. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you had a great pick for the Barracuda. I was the guy sitting there by the pool watching the last 9 holes of the Barracuda. Everyone's like, what are you watching? The British Open was 7 hours ago. I'm like, no, we got serious PGA Tour action here. All right,
absolutely. I'm going to call go get your special assistant. Yep. All right, so we've got Paige Johnson back, and I think she's got the right pick for us in the 3M Open.
We do. We've got at plus 4,500 our favorite player on tour, just simply for the way he dresses. It is Kashmir Keith. But most importantly, the stat of the week, write this down, hashtag it, content 5 stars only, number 1 in total driving strokes gained. This tournament's all about how you hit the tee ball. He's number 1 on tour, strokes gained, tee to green, off the tee, whole 9 yards. And he's a bomber. He knows how to go low. So I like Keith Mitchell. And he needs a win to get good playoff position. So we only got 2 tournaments left till FedEx Cup playoffs start. So he's somebody that you would expect to see, deep into the playoffs, big name player. So he needs a win to get the ship righted and head into the weekend paying for college with plus 4,500.
So Paige knows, get off your keister, get down to Heaster, right? She already knows the tagline?
She was born to the tagline.
Okay. Perfect. Do me a favor, get off your keister, head down to Easter. Bennett Johnson, Heaster Automotive Group, joining me here on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline with some more golf picks. Hey, man, for Paige's sake, I hope you do a lot better this week than you did last week.
Me too, because we need you to buy a car from us, so we got to get you on a hot streak.
Let's do this and get you some pizza.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Next topic, please.
All right, that's going to do it for us this week on Picks and Pizza. I promise the pizza portion of this podcast is coming. Anthony Guerra, Oakwood Pizza Box. Check him out, oakwoodpizzabox.com. Also, check out our Law of the Wolf podcast this week. It's got Elliot Avent. We took a trip down to the Oakwood Pizza Box there on Person Street, Wednesday through Sunday. Check them out, Wednesday through Sunday, oakwoodpizzabox.com. The best pizza not only in Raleigh, but in all of North Carolina. We'll be back next week. We'll have some NFL picks. We're going to start our NFL picks with Anthony Guerra next week. We'll also have a little bit more golf. We'll see if Bennett can redeem himself. But appreciate everyone for all of your support on all of our podcasts. But remember this one, Picks and Pizza, Apple, Spotify, Google, 5 stars only. Download, do all the good things. And, of course, on the YouTubes right here, leave a comment. Share your picks with me. Let me know who you like this week at the 3M Open. We'll see you guys
What's on
next week.
Giglio's card and parlays.